Three, two. Hey, Josh. So, talk to us about uncommon marketing methods. Tell me one or a couple tactics or strategies that will help bring in new patients.
Hey, Michael, thanks so much for having me on again. Dude, it was good to see you last month in Napa at the Making of Retreat. Now we're back to, I got you on a screen, which is almost just as good. Being in person is way better, but like it's always fun seeing you.
Yeah.
Um, all right, you said uncommon marketing tactics. Dude, the first thing that came to my mind was thank you cards.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So hang with me here for a moment because I know I can see by your reaction, you're like, I don't know, bro. Like I asked you to come on and talk about uncommon marketing, and you're giving me thank you cards. Like,
It's
what's
good.
up?
It's good.
But
It's good.
hold on for a second. If you don't like it, man, you scrap the episode. You don't have to publish it. But no, I think there's a couple reasons here, and I've always been a big proponent of thank you cards. I've had seasons where I've done less of them, but I've always kind of come back to it. And I think there's a couple reasons here. Number one, it's completely personal, right? Like thank you cards capture that smile, that handshake, that hug, and especially as we're in this space now where that's not always you're not always able to do that, and we've got more distance between each other. Like you and I are seeing each other here. I'd give you a big hug, but I can't, so I'm gonna send you a thank you card to kind of communicate that. And it just communicates to that person that they're top of mind, you're thinking about them. And like, who does this anymore? Who's putting like
Hmm.
handwritten stuff in a mailbox? So I think that's one. Secondly, there's really this whole kind of idea of intentional gratitude behind it as well. A lot of us, we've got our gratitude journals, we write in them. That's awesome. You can write what you're thankful for, but you can also like practice gratitude as well. And I
Yeah.
think this is like one of those things where don't just write about it, like actually do it. um, and so, but also when you make a habit of this, now you actually start to see with gratitude, you start to think with gratitude, you have an interaction with somebody and you're like, they need a thank you card next week. Um,
Hmm.
and it requires some effort from you. So it's like, hey, take some time, do it. Um, the third thing here is it really sets you apart. I think it's a very easy way to stand out because again, very few people are doing this. It's not scalable at all,
Hmm.
but people notice that, and especially as your practice gets bigger, your company gets bigger. It's like to get a card from you or somebody, like, hey, you stood out to me, this was why. It's just a personal touch that I think is hard to beat. And then, man, last I was like, it's like kind of reclaiming this like ancient like art of what society and community used to be about, like I don't know about you, but growing up, like when I got birthday gifts, my mom was like, do your thank you cards. And I'm like, Mom, I don't want to. And she's like, it's been 2 weeks, do your thank you cards. Like you have 2 weeks to get them done. And so it's just thinking of others, like, demonstrates good communication, which I think we're losing
Hmm.
that as we go too. So for me, it has all these types of benefits around it.
I like that. Demonstrates good communication. What would you recommend if you're, and real quick, do we type them all? Do we handwrite them?
Yeah, yeah. So I've got some. So they need to be handwritten.
Okay.
And I'll get into. I've got kind of two other topics here. Number one is like when and who to give them to. We can talk through that,
Hmm.
and then just some like pro tips for it that I've learned along the way. So
Okay. 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 So let's talk about that. When and who to give them to.
okay. So I think so some of this is my filter, but I'm also thinking it through from a dental practice perspective. Number one, I think after important phone calls, you've
Hmm.
got an important phone call with somebody. Maybe it's a new partner company or vendor that you're going to be working with that you're excited. Maybe it's a vendor that's actually done a really good job for you. I feel like sometimes all we do is when it comes to vendors, like if something goes wrong, that's when we get up in arms and like go write something on social media. But maybe if you've got a vendor you're working with that's just done an awesome job and you're like, man, I'm so thankful I found you a year ago or 2 years ago. Do that. Meetings, you get out of a meeting, maybe it's with another local doctor or study club or something like that. Send a thank you card. Man, appreciate your effort, great to meet you, love this idea we talked about. uh, Team members, just recognizing team members in the practice. I personally write thank you notes to all the team members on their birthday. So we do like a Studio 88 birthday card, right, that everybody
Hmm.
signs, but then they also are going to get a handwritten card from me in the mail. um, Patient recognition, referrals. Like maybe you have a really cool patient come in and just stands out to you, connect with them. Maybe it's a bigger case. Maybe a patient's referring people to you. Man, just recognize them.
Hmm.
Um, post interview, maybe you're interviewing some new team members. You feel really good about somebody, you know it's going to move forward in the process, but you just drop a card in the mail to them that day, like, hey, enjoyed our interview today. Thanks so much for taking the time. I know you probably got a lot of choices right now. I appreciate, you blocking the time to meet with us, that type of thing. And then obviously like gifts you've been given, I think that's always kind of a standard. Is somebody gives you a gift, send them something handwritten. So it's probably not like a send a thank you card and get a new patient in the practice next week, but
Yeah.
it's more of that, man, as we build businesses, and Michael, this, I know this now, even as big as we continue to grow and get, it's like business is built one-to-one, man. It's like every client matters. I talk to my team about that. Like, that like every patient still matters. It doesn't matter how big you're getting. And so in the beginning, I feel like we used to do that, like be intentional about every single person. But as
Hmm.
things grow, now we're like, we got to scale, we got to automate, we got to do all these things, and we start to lose some of that. But in the end, I don't know that we should ever get past the point where we're like, it's still one-to-one.
Yeah. We lose it, huh? We lose that one to one. Not that you mention it. As you continue to grow and grow, you're like, whatever, kind of you kind of
Yeah.
forget sometimes.
When you like delegate and you're like, I got a team, I got more important things to do. But I think it just brings us, like I said, some of that brings us back to humanity, brings us back to gratitude, brings us back to the importance of that one-to-one relationship. So
Yeah. When it comes to writing the thank you cards for patients, right? Now, are all of them different? Or like, for example, let's just say like you give one to the husband and the wife and they both look, are you going to send them both different ones or just one to the family? Or like, what if the neighbor gets one too? And it's the same thing, kind of thing.
yeah,
How does it work?
I think that's up to you and kind of how you want to mix it up. I know from writing thank you cards, like I tend to maybe start the same way, close the same way. But one of my pro tips is try to include something specific in there, So it could be like, hey, so good to see you. I always enjoy, our time together, which you could say that to a lot of different people and a lot of different thank you notes. But, specifically us, when you told me about your grandmother, going into hospice and how you've been caring for her. And I was thinking about how difficult that would be and how proud I am of you for stepping, you know what I mean? Like pull something specific in. I do that at conferences all the time when I meet people and then we have
Mm-hmm.
conversations. I'll refer to that, back in the thank you note later.
Yeah, you
So
gave us a thank you card, or you gave me a thank
I
you card.
did
And I was
send
like,
you
what?
one, man.
Look at this
It was
guy.
good to see you. Just like, so
Yeah.
I forgot I did that in relation to this, but it was good timing.
Yeah. I know. So then should we, when this happens, we send out the thank you cards, and they're handwritten, right? So we allocate the
Yeah.
time, we do all that stuff, we handwrite it, send it out. Should anything be dental related or like a PS, hey, don't forget if you to leave a review? I don't know, or no, none of that.
Yeah. No, I think you could. Because dude, I do that sometimes. I met a couple people at the retreat with you where I was just like, hey, so good to meet you. Finally in person. A couple of them might have, followed on Instagram. Like I loved following your startup. You're doing a great job. Keep going, keep listening to that voice inside of you. If I can ever be of help, please let me know. So I mean, there's some of that in there. Well, I will drop that into potential new clients. So I think it's the same thing, right? Like maybe it's a patient that is on the fence with some stuff, and you're like, "Hey, good to see you. Just want you to know, like, when you're ready, I'm here. Like this is the right choice for you, whatever." And but I guess it's probably less pushy and more just giving them the space
Yeah, like we're here whenever your dental
when
needs,
you're
I don't
ready.
know, right? Something like that. Who should I know, like obviously the people who are upset, right? Or the people who are like, I'm never coming back, kind of thing. But besides that, who should not get them?
Well, I don't think anybody it's where it's maybe disingenuous. Like I don't think you should be pushing yourself to just like say things like this isn't a game. And honestly, I don't think a lot of people play it like a game, where I'm just going to send out like, to people that really don't deserve it or who I don't really care about or whatever. But because there's not enough time to really turn this into a mass scale thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it's just really that genuinely looking at your week and going, who were the people that stuck out to me? Who were the conversations I had a good time? Like I enjoyed. What were the meetings I enjoyed? Who are the people that need some recognition? And just thinking about it like that.
Okay, cool. So thank you cards. That's it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And then, so like, here's some pro tips, right? So if you're going to do this, number one, get them professionally printed.
Okay.
So get a cool looking card, put your practice logo on it, make it fun. Like, here's actually, like, this is my personal one. I don't know
Hmm.
if that'll focus in on it, but I've got my own logo for my own name. So, but that's the front and that's the back. It just says thank you.
Yeah.
But if they look cool, I think you also send out more. So it could be one of the cards that open. I kind of like just the flat, almost like stationary looking thing. Um, get all the supplies together, meaning the worst thing is you write a thank you card and then you're like, crap, now I need an envelope. Man, now I need a label. Now I need a stamp. And you're trying to like
Hmm.
do all those things one at a time. So I'm like, get get the stamps, go buy yourself a roll of stamps, print out return labels, so that they're there, have your envelopes, like have a little system in your drawer in your office. And so everything's there and it's super easy. Um, the third thing is make them unique. So like figure out a way to kind of just have some fun with it. Like I actually use red envelopes because that's kind of like one of my brand colors. So
Yeah.
Joanna makes fun of me and says I'm sending Christmas cards all year. I
Oh,
tell her
you're
she doesn't understand brand color and what I'm
yeah.
trying to do. But yeah, have some fun with it. Whether it's like a colored pen or there's like, you do some stickers as well and seal the envelope with a cool office sticker, but just make them unique, man. Have some fun with it. Yeah, I like my return labels, like everything's together. I do this weekly. So like I have a weekly on Friday. It's a weekly to do to send thank you cards. So I look back through my week and I'm like, whose birthday was it? What meetings did I have? What phone calls did I have? Because I think you could do it monthly
Hmm.
and you could do it when you think about it. The problem is if you do it when you think about it, you're not going to really build a habit. You're just going to like one day, oh, I should. Then maybe next week you do it again, but then you're gonna get busy and lose sight of it. If you do it monthly, I feel like there's too much time. Like I look back and I'm like, yeah, I met with that person, but what was that about? So for me, weekly has been the rhythm where I still remember the week, the important people, meetings, conversations, and can still do that. So,
Gotcha.
um, oh, and then the other two we already talked about, but it was like hand write it. Like don't automate this. That's kind of the exact opposite point of it, right? Like
Yeah.
you start automating your thank you cards. It's probably not. Yeah, I think we're missing the point at that point. And then include something specific so that it's not just like, I mean, it could be thanks for being a great patient, but I think including something specific about that interaction and why is just a better play.
Gotcha. Okay. So far, what
So
you've seen, what's been like from the thank yous, the ROI, if you can put something to it.
it's goodwill, man. It's like when I think, and I think this is life in general, but you put that out there and you put your goodwill out there, you put your intention out there, you put effort, gratitude out there. I think it comes back to you. And so I think patients start coming back, and all of a sudden every week now you got somebody walking in and it's like, thank you for your card last month, or 3 months ago, I got your card that meant so much. Or, I think this changes even relationship with vendors, with other professionals in the community. When they know you're thinking about them and you take the time, next time they see you, your relationship isn't like starting half a step up, it's starting like 3 steps up, you know?
Mm.
Dude, here's funny. This is kind of similar, but I was out at dinner Sunday night with one of our team members. He actually came over to do our family photos for us on Sunday. His wife was with him. We went to dinner that night. The check comes. I'm like, I got it. And he's like, no. He's like, let me pay for this one. I'm like, no, man, I got you. You came over to do our family photos. And he was like, I know. But he's like, you always pay for dinner. I want to get it, at least one time. And I'm like, dude, you know me. I got your food. Like I got your food all the time. And I tell people, I'm like, people love food. So I pay for food so that people like me. you know, like it's
Yeah.
which when I say it like that, it seems like really like needy, but
You're
yeah.
so needy,
um,
John.
I know, yeah, like that. It sounds kind of manipulative, but like no, my team knows. Like we bring in lunch every Monday. We've got this like snacks everywhere. We go to dinner. Like I'm buying it. It's just one of those things where I'm like, food is such a goodwill thing that I've made a decision in my life that whenever possible, I'm going to buy food because it just creates that. Like it shows people you care about them, you're thinking about them, you're intentional. And I think this is very similar, like same way.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, man. Food like opens up a whole culture, brings people together, does a ton than just keep you full, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
we have some time real quick. Has if anybody listening hasn't heard Josh speak, man, you talked on the retreat marketing your story,
Yeah.
bro. We all almost cried. You almost cried. Uh
I think
it was you and I always thought like, yeah, you're an agency, you're a marketing agency, right? And all these things. And I know you're like a lot of people think, yeah, you're high level, right? Like meaning like not typical, like, okay, we're just gonna build your website out and then, that's it. And then we're gonna stamp a price and then, you know what I mean? Whatever the market runs. You're a little bit more, right? I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you do charge a premium,
Yep.
but you get it, man. You get it. Like when let if anybody can, what was the Google video that you showed in your talk?
Oh man, yeah, that was the Google every year for the Super Bowl, for like the last 3 or 4 years, they do a commercial called "The Year in Search," and it was the year. So if you Google "The Year in Search 2022," it was their video from the last January, February. It's a good commercial.
Yeah, yeah. If anybody and get like anybody listening right now who wants to be in dentistry like Nike, right? Like Google. Um you look at those brands and they're not like you said, they're not like, hey, our pants are on sale for, you know what I mean? And our shoes are on sale. Nike, go get them now for whatever. Or Google's not like, hey, we're free, blah, 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 right? They
Right.
are talking about their story,
Yeah.
right? And so it made me think like, yeah, if anybody wants that like type of legacy, you know what I mean, brand where they're like, oh yeah, people are going with me because they're a brand. It's not because of a deal, not a price. Studio 88, man. Like that was really good. You know what I mean? And the whole
Nice.
time you didn't even talk about Studio. You weren't really like, guys, we're doing a sale or anything. It was just like
Right.
when I was done with that, I was like, man, thank you guys for
Yeah.
doing my website. Like, it was good,
Well,
man.
good. Had you not you just haven't heard me speak before then, right? Which is kind of crazy to think about.
I haven't heard this one. I want to say I've
Okay.
heard you speak before.
Yeah, this is probably just like was last year and this year. This has been my like newer speech, so I probably got one more year out of it. But I changed the examples usually year to year, but the framework's been the same. But yeah, man, it's been fun. It's that whole concept like with Google. I think my point was we've all have dismissed Google in the past. It's just like, oh, they're digital yellow pages, and
Mhm.
and the whole point of that was like it was a question, what do you see, like what's your vision? And people can go, oh, that's just a new dental practice in town, or that's just whatever. And we've all done that with Google at the same time, they see something different. They've always seen search as a way to connect people, which is what that commercial was about. And so it was that encouragement to go, I know this is a dental practice, I know this is a marketing agency, I know this is like whatever, but what do you see? Like, what's the bigger thing? And let people just tell you all the time, like, oh, that's just this. Fine. And the whole time you see something different. And then one day people were like, wow, that's really cool what you're doing. So
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. And guys, I'm not getting paid to say this or anything, so just a heads up. But if Josh, you want to, no, I'm just kidding. But
well, you know
awesome.
that group too, dude. That making of group. There were so many really high level elite startups there that do see things differently. You know, like they see their current dental practice, but they've got other stuff, man.
Yeah.
They're seeing, and so it was fun. It was a fun group to talk to for sure.
Yeah, I know, but that's I mean, if you can't, I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but like can people just get like a free personalized like demo or something, or just like, hey man, I want to talk with you and see if you're like a good fit or anything like that? Can they do that or not?
Oh yeah, man. I jump on the phone all the time with people, and you know, from my speech, and I'm very much like that in a technical sales call context as well, where I'm just like, hey, I'll try to help you however I can. Like, if anything, I'm just going to give you professional advice. Like, if I were you, here's what I would be doing for your marketing, like moving forward. If you want to work with us, awesome. If you want to go do it yourself, awesome. If you've got other
Mhm.
vendors and companies you're working with and you want to take some of that back to them, I'm like, go for it. That's kind of my deal overall. You know, if you like us, want to work with us, awesome. If not, man, take it. make the world a better place with better marketing for sure.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Josh, I appreciate your time. And if anyone has further questions, you can definitely find them on the Dental Marketer Society Facebook group, or where can they reach out to you directly?
And I'm on Instagram at Joshua Scott. You can also email me, Joshua at s8e8.com.
Awesome. So, guys, that's going to be in the show notes below. Reach out, schedule a call just to see what you guys got going on and things like that, how he can help you. And then, yeah, Josh, thank you for being with me on this Monday morning marketing episode.
Always fun, bro.